Hi, welcome to the Formula One Time Portal, a Formula One history podcast started by two Formula One enthusiasts. I'm your enthusiastic host, Rosa.
And I'm your Like a Rolling Stone host, Luigi. And today we're taking you back to the final part of the 1965 season. So let's go.
Is that another Rolling Stone song?
Bob Dylan.
Bob Dylan.
Like a Rolling Stone.
Oh, like a Rolling Stone. Okay, got it.
Yeah, but he was referring to the real, not the band.
Okay.
Yeah, but you had a very enthusiastic opening too. I
did.
didn't give you many comments on yours, but I want to give you due credit.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. So we're up to race 7 of the season. So we get straight into it. The German Grand Prix. August the 1st at the Nürburgring, 15 laps, 19 drivers, and the grid formation of 4x3x4. I've said this many times, but I'm saying it again because this is the first time Stewart is racing on this in a Formula One car, that he called this the Green Hell because it was such a challenging, daunting track. Yeah. So the Honda team decided to miss this race and return to Japan to concentrate on preparing for the Italian Grand Prix, as they felt their cars were suffering from several problems. Jackie Stewart again astonished everyone by setting a new lap record on only his second visit to the ring. Or did I say it was his first? It must have been in an F2 car or something.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah.
Yeah. He shaved 9 seconds off Surtees' record time from 1964, which was at that time 8 minutes 30.6.
Wow, times just keep tumbling every year, don't they? Like cars are just getting faster, drivers more skilled, and everyone's just pushing everything to the limits. And in this case, Stewart, who was like his first season in an F1 car.
Yeah, it's spectacular. And this is not a track one really ever gets to know.
No.
Yeah. So Clark and Hill both had mechanical issues with their BRM cars during practice.
No, Clark was in the Lotus.
Oh, Clark was in the Lotus and Hill was in the BRM, sorry. During the practice, and both eventually Clark set a staggering time of 8 minutes 22.7 to actually grab pole position. No one got close to that time. Stewart's best was 3.4 seconds slower for second, and Hill came in third, and Surtees took the last spot on the front row.
Because I still remember when it wasn't that long ago that getting under 9 minutes was like a huge deal, and now we're at like under 8 minutes 30.
Yeah, 8:22.
Yeah.
So we're going to be under 8 minutes before we know it.
Yeah,
which
exactly.
is spectacular.
Yeah.
On race day, there were a couple of spots of rain just before the race, causing everyone to think that their wet tyres, about putting on wet tyres, but it cleared pretty quickly, so no one actually ended up choosing the wet tyres. So at race start, Clark shot away into the lead, but at the other end of the front row, Surtees' Ferrari had trouble with gear selection, and while he sorted that out, the rest of the field pretty much rushed past. A nonsense start. Oh, you're going to say that, but I got excited.
You did get excited, yes.
Yeah. He ended up retiring with no gears on lap 12.
Yeah, like I know you said it was a nonsense start, but I feel like it shouldn't be a nonsense start if it was the fault of the car. Like that was apparently from Mike Lang's book, it said that the gear selection mechanism had issues, not Surtees fiddling trying to choose a gear. So
yeah. It's I think most nonsense starts are not normally the driver's fault.
Sometimes it is.
But we still call them all nonsenses, don't we?
I prefer it to be a nonsense if it's the driver's fault rather than the car.
But how can we know sometimes?
Well, I know we're not going to know.
I
know.
Yeah.
Hey,
we have to call it what it is.
Yeah. I just want to say I was on YouTube and I actually saw they've got a short 6-minute video of this race on YouTube. And you see Clark start. It is when they say he shot into the lead, oh my goodness, did he shoot into the lead?
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was unbelievable to see. You should get on there and watch it. It's actually it's only 6 minutes long. Obviously, they don't have the whole race. But the other really interesting thing about watching this race is just how close all the cars actually drive to one another.
Yeah.
And also, if you have a look at the track, it's not like the tracks you see today. Like there's, you know how today you've got all of the runoff areas and the fences and even the signs that give you like the braking points. the 150 meter breaking point. None of that. There's no signs on the road. It's just pretty much trees all the way to the edge of the track. And it's like there's just road signs. No racing signs.
It's just amazing, isn't it?
It's just unbelievable. But yeah, Clark, and when he was like, because I think you've said he was 3 seconds by the end of the first lap. I reckon it was like 3 seconds, I don't know, just after the first corner. And I know the corners are long at Nürburgring, but it was amazing. It was like he was in a different level of car.
Yeah, and I think it's really good to flag this. This is, now that we're getting into the mid-60s, we're starting to get reasonable footage of some of these cars. So there's very little of the 50s because television and recording was in its infancy. But now we're starting to see, so there's 6 minutes of this race.
Yes.
But yeah, we're getting to see it and it's coming to life, and we're reminded. It's not just the words we use. When you visually see, like what you just described, that's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's still in black and white, so you can't see the colours yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was amazing to see. Yeah, it's like they fast forwarded him, and he just went zip all the way out,
and everyone else is on normal motion.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's a very good way of painting the picture. Yeah. And I remember in terms of braking points, I remember some drivers of those days would talk about they'd use trees and markers of the environment as their braking points. Yep. And I remember one driver, and I can't remember the story, but they complained that at this particular track they cleared out some trees in an area it wrecked their braking point references.
Yes, yeah.
Which is hilarious. So you've said that Clark established that 3 second lead, and Clark and Hill started leaving Stewart behind. And in an effort to keep up, Stewart actually made a mistake, resulting in a bent wishbone and a retirement from the race.
Oh, wow, that's the first mistake we've heard from Stewart this season. But look, he's really shown that I'm not going to give too much. Oh, you've already given it away. I was going to say he's success material, but yeah, he's championship material, isn't he? He's already shown that in this season.
Yeah. So I think he did also have a spin at Monaco as well, but he didn't retire. He just lost his lead.
Yeah, that's right.
But these errors are few and far between for the guy, and this is his rookie season.
Yeah,
as well.
absolutely.
So, yes. Considering this, in this modern era of Formula One, rookies are pretty much given most of the year.
Yes.
Except if you're in Red Bull. you might have half a year.
They're
at the
a little bit more ruthless, aren't they?
Yeah. So to the race, Gurney was now in a lonely third place, with Spence following in the Lotus. McLaren was battling for fourth with Siffert in the Rob Walker team. Rindt was next in the Cooper, and Bonnier was further back. There were many retirements that followed, including McLaren, Spence, Holman, Siffert, and there were now only 10 cars left on the track.
Ring strikes again. We hear this every time at this track, don't we?
Yeah. I don't think they put the F2 cars on this track, which is why there are only 10 cars.
Yes.
So, yeah. Up at the front, Clark stretched his lead over Hill to 9 seconds, who in turn led Gurney by over 10 seconds. Rindt and Brabham followed. And that's pretty much how they finished, with Clark notching up his 6th championship victory of the season from 6 starts and claiming his 2nd world championship even earlier than he did in his dominant 63 season.
Because we've still got 3 races left.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh my gosh, that is domination. And I think he also in this race got another pole, fastest lap and win. So can't do much more than that, can you?
No. So he's pretty much got it wrapped up.
Yeah, so he's on 54 points and Hill is on 30 and Jackie Stewart is on 25. Look, I did read in some places that there was a mathematical chance that Hill could still win it after this race, but I couldn't figure it out. He's 24 points behind and there's only 3 races left. So that's 3 9s are 27. But
and it's a bit complicated by Graham Hill also has to drop points because he's been so reliable up to this point in the season that he has finished with points every race.
That's right. Yes, because it's only the top 6 that count.
So it's mathematically possible, but it relies on Clark getting 0 and Hill
Yeah, I think he has to
getting
win.
27 and dropping points, and he might just make it.
Might just make it, yeah. So it gets very technical. But yeah, I think
and at this stage, Graham Hill's only won one race this year, and that was the race that Clark didn't turn up to.
Yeah, exactly.
So just saying.
Yeah. I think the biggest point of interest is whether Jackie Stewart can overtake his teammate. He's only 5 points behind at this point. So that's interesting.
Yeah, that's always a bit of a shake-up, isn't it, when that happens?
Yes. And in the constructors, we've got Lotus on 54, a little bit not as far ahead of BRM. They're on 39. So that could still happen. And Ferrari is on 21 in third place.
We're up to race 8, the Italian Grand Prix. This is race 8 of 10. This race was held on the 12th of September at Monza, 76 laps, 23 drivers, and a 3x2x3 grid formation. So although the championship was pretty much decided, there was a lot of interest for the race at Monza, especially with Honda returning after making some changes to their car.
He stacking the grid tactics here from our Italian organisers.
I wish they did it with Bandini, then I could have another dig at him, but they did it for Baghetti, so it doesn't count. Yeah. No. And Honda coming back, remember they missed the last race because they wanted to fix their car. So let's see if that pays dividends. So, yeah. So both Italian teams, there are technically two teams. When I say technically, in reality, but one that we don't really talk about. So we've got Ferrari and Centro Sud. Sud, is that south in Italian?
Yes, it is. Yep.
Yeah. What does Centro mean? Do you know? That might be a sponsor.
Yeah, I think it might be. Yeah.
So they fielded 3 cars each for their home race, but that is pretty normal compared to some of the previous races here. So I think they like to give their probably Italian drivers are the extra drivers as well, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
So rain interrupted first practice. So the grid wasn't set until the final session, with Clark taking pole with 1 minute 35.9. Surtees was second, only 0.2 seconds slower, and Stewart was third, only 0.5 seconds further back. The second row saw Hill in the BRM and Bandini in the Ferrari line up alongside one another.
Best friends, best mates. Yeah.
I wonder if Hill did a bit of a fist before the start race, just to remind him.
Yeah.
So I suspect that.
Yeah, I don't think
Hill knows his.
Yeah, Hill's got to win. I don't know that where is he? He's fourth. Is he fourth?
Yeah, but he's not going to win it, and we know it. But as in we know it, as in not the future. We know.
We know mathematically. It's and Clark's taken pole. Something massive's going to have to happen here.
Yeah. So I wonder if now Hill is angry with Bandini for robbing him of the 64 championship because he knows he's not going to win this one now.
We know that Hill is never angry with Bandini. He says all the way through to the end of his career that he thought it was an innocent mistake.
I've got to explore Bandini more. Yeah. So to the race start, just prior to the start, Surtees develops clutch trouble while Clark and Stewart lead the way. Also, Hill and Bandini also made great starts from the second row. So Surtees was now running last.
Oh, that's Surtees always has these car issues on the starting line.
Yeah.
I think the Moss Gremlins have found a new victim, and it's Surtees.
Yeah, he's British, and they want to do it. They want to do it the best they can at his home race.
That's right.
Or not his home race.
His Ferrari.
The Ferrari's home race.
Yes, exactly.
So a tense opening lap ended with Clark in the Lotus, followed by Stewart BRM side by side, and then behind them was Hill in the other BRM and Bandini in the Ferrari, Siffert and Spence in the Lotus. So Surtees meanwhile was working his way back up the field and actually was now 13th. All the while driving without a clutch.
Okay, I'm not a mechanic, but I don't think that's going to last too long. I reckon you need a clutch.
I'm pretty sure you need a clutch to facilitate the changing of the gears because I think maybe you can get away with it. This is my ignorance here, but I'm going to give it a go. I think you can get away with no clutch if when you change the gears, you perfectly line it up so that the cogs don't crash into each other.
Crunch.
So if you do it perfectly... then you're fine. But I think the chances of doing it perfectly, that's why a clutch exists.
During a race, highly doubt it. Highly doubt it.
200-ish, 300 kilometres an hour. So, it's a big call. So on lap 7, Surtees actually caught up with the lead group, with Clark, Hill, Stewart all taking turns leading and slipstreaming each other, which is awesome to see at this track, isn't it?
It is, but he caught up with them with no clutch. So
Yeah.
like the slipstreaming must be we know it is very powerful at this track.
So on lap 35, Surtees finally had to retire the clutchless Ferrari.
There you go. Yep, we knew it didn't last long, but he did well to challenge the leaders and, get them a little bit scared.
He did really well, yeah. So after 50 laps, this is a 76-lap race, it was actually Clark versus the two BRMs of Hill and Stewart. Again and again, the three leaders switched positions until Clark came to a sudden halt with fuel pump trouble.
Oh, no. That means Hill then could technically win this race and mathematically keep his chances of winning alive. But again, I don't know. It's too much, too many permutations to take out of his scores.
Yeah. Let's see. Because you'd think it would have ended just as you said, but there is one final twist to the story. On the second to last lap, so the race sort of proceeds as is with Clark out. On the second to last lap, Hill put a wheel over the edge of the track at the Parabolica and lost just enough time for his teammate Stewart to go ahead and win his first championship race by 3.3 seconds.
What? Well, hang on. But surely team orders is warranted in this situation. Isn't there like maybe half a championship chance? And he's the number one driver of the team.
I'm shocked like you. Because that second place pretty much shuts the door on his very slim mathematical chances.
Like if there was a chance, exactly.
Yeah.
Wow.
I suspect a pragmatic approach may have been taken because the BRM team and the drivers knew that Clark is not likely to retire from 3 races in a row. Remember, prior to this, he's just won the previous.
He's run 6 out of 6 starts. Yeah, he missed Monaco.
He's won the last 5 in a row as well. Yeah. So maybe they figured that it doesn't really matter.
Maybe.
But
like
anything can happen in life.
Absolutely. Anything.
And in F1 in particular.
Exactly. Maybe, oh, look, I don't know. That's just weird.
Yeah.
At least it's not Ferrari making this mistake.
I was about to say this is a Ferrari move, But the difference is with Ferrari, it probably would cost them the championship, but for other teams, it probably makes no difference.
That's right.
They got away with it because they weren't Ferrari.
Yeah.
So to wrap up, Stewart gets his first win. Hill second, Gurney third, and Bandini fourth.
Yeah, apparently this race featured 42 lead changes between the 4 drivers, all the British ones. It says, like the reference that I saw, which is Wikipedia, which we don't want to rely on too much, but it does say that that's the most lead changes ever in a Formula One motor race.
You know what? If it's not true, first of all, it warrants special mention regardless.
Yeah.
But my gut feeling tells me it's 99. I'm 99% certain it's true. 42 lead changes.
Yes, 42.
That just sounds huge.
Yeah.
And it's super exciting.
Yes. Monza delivers again.
Again.
Okay, so to the championship standings, Jim Clark's on 54. He didn't finish the race. Graham Hill is on 34 and Jackie Stewart is on 33 now.
Very tight.
Yes. And on the constructors' side, we have Lotus on 54, BRM on 42 and Ferrari on 24. So, Luigi, is there a instance of a rookie coming in and beating his championship winning teammate?
Off the top of my head, you mean over a season or in a race?
No, in the championship standings. Like, has there been like
There must be lots of times.
A rookie a rookie.
Yeah.
Like in your first season, coming in and beating your teammate who's a world champion.
Like an established
driver. World champion, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah,
we'll have to.
I don't know. I'd say it's rare. It's pretty rare.
Yeah.
But we've seen junior drivers beat their established champions. Like when we think of Charles Leclerc, who got the promotion from Sauber to the Ferrari team in 2019, and he pretty much whipped Sebastian Vettel, who was a multiple champion driver of
That's
the past.
true, but he wasn't.
But he
it wasn't
wasn't
a
a
rookie.
rookie.
No, he wasn't a rookie. Yeah.
But he was only just out of that cell. I think he only did one season.
Did
in that cell,
Hamilton
but-
do? No, because Hamilton, when he partnered with Jensen, I think
no,
Jensen
Alonso.
or Alonso. Yeah.
Did
Did he beat Alonso?
I think they got equal points, but I think he was ranked ahead of Alonso.
No, that was his
And-
rookie season, wasn't it?
That was his rookie season, and not only that, Alonso was a double champion.
Yeah.
He just won the previous 2 championships,
There you
so he was
go.
right up there. So yeah, there's one example.
There's one example. I thought.
But it's a memorable one, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mm.
Anyway, we'll see whether Jackie Stewart can do it this season.
Yeah, it would be a big effort. So, and he's right up there, not far behind. So we're up to the 9th race of the season, the United States Grand Prix. So it's the second to last race of the season. It's the 3rd of October. The track's at Watkins Glen. 110 laps, 18 drivers, and a 2x2x2 grid formation. So Ferrari were actually without their team leader Surtees because he was actually in hospital after crashing during practice for the Canadian Grand Prix, which was actually a non-championship race.
Yeah, I read about this. Like, he suffered massive injuries. He had spinal injuries, a broken pelvis, a ruptured kidney, but like he was literally like in his hospital bed saying, "No, I'm going to continue racing. I'll be back. I'll be back."
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty intense, isn't it? Because that would have been may have been one of the biggest accidents of his career to have that
I'd
many
say so.
injuries.
Yes.
And so there's a bit of reality coming to roost to bring back home the risks you're taking on this racetrack.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see how he does. I mean, we know from the record books that he only wins one championship, but it'll be interesting. Like, that's a pretty significant accident. Whether you can come back from that fully. Yeah.
Yeah. So perennial pole getter Clark attempts were interrupted by serious oil leaks. So as such, pole time was set by Hill, with Clark still managing to set second fastest time in his teammate Spencer's car.
Oh, okay. So doesn't that mean that Spence needs to start second? Because isn't that the rule?
Yeah.
When you're in someone's car, it's the car that sets the time, not the driver.
Yeah, that's right. Remember that race, that fiasco with Gonzalez?
Yeah.
Technically, yes. But things have matured in Formula One. So I'm proud of Formula One for common sense coming to roost and stuff. So
Okay.
yeah. So Spence in the Lotus and Ginther in the Honda line up on the second row in 3rd and 4th, with Stewart and Bandini 5th and 6th on the 3rd row. So Spence is not too far behind Clark. To the race, Hill made a splendid start under overcast skies, just beating Clark into the first corner. So no super starts like you mentioned at Belgium for Clark. Stewart came charging from the 3rd row and actually took 3rd place after giving Ginther in the Honda a slight nudge, which actually caused Ginther to slip down to 8th.
Okay, that sounds a little bit more than a slight nudge.
Well, because it's Stewart, it's okay.
I knew you had double standards everywhere.
Yeah, if it was Bandini,
Yeah, you'd be on him
it would have
big
been
time.
It would have been like,
Unethical.
Bandini ploughed into Ginther
On
didn't pay
purpose.
attention. Yeah, on purpose. Yeah. Ginther should appreciate that just getting a nudge of any sort from Stewart is greatness in action.
Oh, please.
So lap 5, while Clark and Hill were battling for the lead, Stewart actually pitted with a broken throttle and was stopped for 20 minutes before resuming the race.
I think the Formula One gods had something to say about that little nudge then. And Luigi, are those mechanics like honoured to be working on Stewart's car for 20 minutes? Is that like their claim to fame?
Exactly. They would basically retire as mechanics because their big moment in time was working on Clark's car for 20 minutes. Anyway, that's silly. Just the Ginther one is okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so Ginther is honoured, not the mechanics. So to the race, things started to happen very quickly. First, the rain came, followed by a spate of 4 retirements, which included key players. So Spence in the Lotus, Clark with a broken engine.
Oh, gosh.
McLaren in the Cooper with no oil pressure.
Oh, what? A Clark retirement. Luigi, you said that it would be impossible for Clark not to finish the next 3 races. And here he is retiring.
Yeah.
And
he's second in a row.
And see now, BRM, they must be regretting not letting Hill through for that win.
Yeah, in the last race.
Because, anyway, we don't know, but we haven't gone back and calculated Hill's six best finishes.
Yeah, not yet.
No.
It's a bit complicated, actually.
It is.
Yeah, as we know. And just saying, Cooper, McLaren retiring in the Cooper, we haven't heard much from McLaren this year either.
And even
very quiet.
Yes, and Cooper as well. They're just sort of dropping off the radar a little bit, aren't they?
Yeah, just on the very edge of the points or doing nothing.
Yeah.
So to the race itself, Hill could now relax a little as he had now lost almost 15. He now had almost 15 seconds lead ahead of Gurney in the second, followed by a tough battle for third between Brabham and Bandini. Let's see if Bandini makes...
Don't say it. Don't say it. I knew what you were going to say.
You stopped me just in time.
I knew what you were going to say.
I promise I'll move on from 66. I promise.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. So the wet track made the racing tricky, with Hill and Brabham both taking to the grass on separate occasions, but both positions were regained. So bit of luck there, to be honest, because it would have been hard to stay in that sort of situation. So by half distance, it was Hill leading in the BRM, Gurney in the Brabham second, and Brabham, and then Bandini in the Ferrari. Little took place with the main protagonists for the remainder of the race, with Hill going on to win the race by 12.5 seconds over Gurney. And actually, Hill wins this race for the 3rd consecutive year.
Well, what do you know? A win for Hill. And I think he gets his 2nd Grand Slam. So I think like in this era, when you win everything.
Yeah, it's all or nothing.
It's all or nothing. That's right.
Yeah.
And yeah, Lotus clinched the constructors title here as well now.
Okay.
So we've got, so Hill stretches a little bit of a gap between him and Stewart, which is really the only interesting point of this table. Clark's on 54, Graham Hill's on 40, and Jackie Stewart on 33. And the constructors, Lotus is on 54, BRM 45, and Ferrari on 26.
So we move on to the final race of the season, the Mexican Grand Prix, racing for pride and maybe some change in the championship positions. I think Stewart can still grab second, but he needs a win and Hill to get nothing.
Yes.
Pretty unlikely, but let's see what happens. So October 24 at Mexico City, 65-lap race, and there's 17 drivers driving, and the grid formation is 2x2x2. So once again, some teams arrived at Mexico to acclimatise their cars to the high altitude. I think they come a little bit earlier because of that. And practice was once again plagued by mechanical issues for both Lotus and BRM.
Well, that equals out the championship resolving issues.
Yeah, not that there is a there is a championship to resolve, but yeah.
Yeah.
But eventually Clark in Spencer's car actually sets pole with a time of 1 minute 56 only 0.7 seconds faster than Gurney in the Brabham. Then Brabham in the Brabham and Ginther in the Honda lined up on the second row in 3rd and 4th.
You're doing well with the triple Brabhams, Luigi.
Yeah. It was tricky.
Yeah, so the BRMs didn't qualify great, with Hill in 5th and Stewart in 8th. And in other interest in relation to practice, McLaren, Atwood, Rint and Ireland all got lost on the way to the track. I thought this was funny. And they actually missed most of practice.
How can that happen?
I don't know. But Reg Parnell, after some very harsh words, sacked Ireland on the spot and gave his car to American driver Bondurant.
I would have thought that when Reg Parnell saw that gaggle of drivers not turn up on time, didn't that work in Ireland's favour?
Yeah, that it wasn't just him. Yeah, exactly. I would have thought so too.
Yeah, I feel sorry for Ireland in that regard.
But they had words apparently. There was a bit of carrying on and then he just sacked him. So I wonder if, I don't know.
There's more to it, and Reg
Yeah.
Parnell used this as the straw that broke the camel's back excuse, pretty much.
Yeah,
I'm sure that American driver had a little bit of cash.
maybe. Yeah, and I don't think he does much. I don't remember this name. I don't read about it. No.
No, neither do I. And I'm not being anti-American when I say that, by the way. It's just a driver that we haven't heard of.
Yeah.
That doesn't succeed.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And we hear about Ireland. He gets podiums and all sorts of stuff. And he even wins a race. So, yeah.
Yeah, he does.
So, on race day, Ginther actually made a perfect start and was in the lead as the cars entered the first corner.
Well done, Honda. And that Ginther doing well. Now I guess he's a little bit happier that he left BRM.
Well, he saw Stewart win a race in that BRM.
Yes, he did.
That could have been me mentality.
Yes.
Maybe he wins this one. Let's see. Stewart also made a good start from 8th place and put his BRM into 2nd. So this is a real mind game for Ginther.
Yes.
Like he's leading the race with his replacement right behind him. But Ginther was already 3 seconds ahead. In 3rd was Spence in the Lotus, then Gurney in the Brabham, Bandini in the Ferrari, and Hill in the BRM.
What's happened to Clark? You haven't mentioned him. What's happened to him?
I feel like I've forgotten him.
Yeah.
But no, he was in trouble way down the field with a sick engine and was actually forced to retire on lap 9.
Wow.
So yes, Clark does retire from the last 3 races.
So what you said was impossible has actually happened.
I know, and I wonder if BRM's mathematicians got fired because it was like, look, it happened, because it was he won the previous 5 races.
Yes.
So, yeah. Anyway, Brabham also had trouble with his car, and a 5-minute pit stop put him dead last, and Stewart slipped back with clutch issues.
Okay, so all the big names seem to be either out of the race or way down the field. Maybe we'll start hearing some new names now.
Yeah, so you're right, because we've still got Ginther Honda in the lead, well ahead of Spence in the Lotus. So Spence is like the number 2 Lotus we've barely spoken about this year. He got points here and there, but he was not of the calibre of, say, Stewart in the BRM as their second driver. Hill was 3rd in the BRM, and next was Gurney in the Brabham. On lap 12, Gurney actually overtook Hill and soon after passed Spence for 2nd, so he was on a bit of a charge.
Yeah.
Hill was intent on catching Ginther in the Honda as well. I meant to say Gurney was intent on catching Ginther in the Honda because Gurney is the one that charged up to 2nd.
Yeah.
So then we had even more retirements. So we thought we had more. We had lots, but we've got more coming. McLaren on lap 26 with no gear selector. Stewart on lap 36 finally succumbing to his clutch issues. Brabham on lap 39 with an oil leak. Rint with ignition trouble on lap 40, and Hill's engine blew on lap 57.
What? Is it just the altitude of this race, or is it just like a long season and the cars have all had punishment over 10 races? That is huge.
I wonder how many new engines. Yeah, I wonder if some of these engines were old, tired engines.
Maybe.
There's no championship on the line, so they probably didn't want to run a new engine and, let's leave that for 66. Do you know what I mean?
I know. That Stewart, Brabham, Hill, like they're big, big teams and big drivers in big teams.
Yeah, I think it has to be the altitude because these engines can't be used in 66. So they would have, if they had a new engine, they would have thrown it in.
Yeah.
Because it's not being used anymore. So the engine changes and the engine sizes. So anyway, Ginther continued to drive a perfectly controlled race and held on to win by 2.89 seconds over Gurney in 2nd and Spence in 3rd.
The first win for Ginther and for Honda, and they were in a Goodyear tyre.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but bad news, I think Goodyear only succeeded in getting on 2 teams' tyres this whole season. So they actually bow out at the end of the season.
Wow. Just like Mercedes, Alfa Romeo, Van Wall.
Yes.
I could go on. So very interesting. And the tyre war's starting or maybe it's stopping now because they just withdrew.
No, but I think another team were on Firestones.
Oh, okay. So we've got Firestones, Dunlop and Goodyear.
Yeah,
so Goodyear's out.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, so Firestone comes in. So interesting to see what happens next year.
Yeah. Well, congratulations to Ginther on his debut. I don't think this is his first. It is his first win.
I think it is his first win. Yeah, it's his first win and Honda's first win. So, yeah. So, the final championship standings for the season then, Jim Clark ran away with it with 54. Graham Hill ended up beating out his junior teammate. He's got 40 points and Jackie Stewart on 33. And in the constructors, it was Lotus on 54, BRM on 45, and Brabham ended up clinching third over Ferrari by 1 point on 27.
Wow. So all those sacrifices that Brabham made paid off.
Paid off, yeah. Got him third spot.
Yeah. And I wonder if, I wonder if there were words between Jack Brabham and Enzo Ferrari, like Brabham saying, well, you get in the car then. Because Brabham can get in the car and perform. So that's the difference.
I have read, and I'll have to dig it up when we do a little bit of a deep diver on Brabham, maybe when he starts his he's already started his team. But when we talk about Brabham again, I have read that Enzo and Jack didn't get along.
Yeah, and Jack had a lot of passion to beat the Ferraris. Yeah, and in fact, a lot of the British teams were somewhat aligned against Ferrari anyway. So it doesn't surprise me. Enzo likes playing politics. He likes to make his drivers fight against each other and really feel the pressure and the heat, whereas Brabham was more of a pragmatic, typical Aussie.
Yeah, Aussie, more laid back and more kind of, sort of the team
laid back,
play.
But super driven, but not perhaps less political, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I have also read that Surtees says that he and Clark were really, really good friends, but then when he joined the Ferrari team, he had to he became a little bit ostracised, which is what you were saying. Yeah, because they sort of like the British team sort of left the Ferrari team out of a lot of stuff because they were just naturally opposed to them. And they kind of made a little click because they were all British.
Yeah.
So,
interesting. And they would have seen the Australian guy as British.
Yeah, they would have.
The colonisation of Australia.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, so on to the season wrap. What did you think, Luigi?
Well, I thought it was a pretty good season by Clark. Very solid showing and a bit of a concern, the falling away at the very end.
Yes.
Yeah, and just I think the highlight for me was not just Clark's just dominance, but Stewart really making a mark on his debut, and those are things that really stand out to me this year. So that's my wrap.
Yeah, I agree. I think Jim Clark's 6 first place finishes from 6 starts, 5 wins in a row, and he won the Indy 500.
Yeah.
That's not inconsequential. Not many drivers do that. And I think there's we'll get into it a little bit more, but isn't there this thing, is it called the triple treat, Luigi?
To win Le Mans, the Indy 500 and the Monaco Grand Prix.
Yeah.
I can't remember. It's a triple something.
Yeah, something like that. Triple.
Only one driver has done it.
Yeah, we're not going to give it away now, but I have, and he came close. I don't think. He didn't win Monaco because he was at Indy.
True. And let's think about Colin Chapman. He got. Remember the money they got was US 125,000. Right. He got that twice because they said that's what you get for winning in Formula One for a whole season.
Yes, that's right.
So he wins the constructors against 125,000 US thereabouts, but in pieces maybe because of wins during the year. And he went. So he had a payday in 65. I'd say if Colin Chapman's tax records show this, he probably paid the most tax.
Yeah, I don't know that you should mention Lotus and tax records.
Okay.
There's a bit of a scandal that's coming up.
Is there? Okay, there you go. Funny.
And I agree. Stewart's rookie season was just amazing this year. And like I said, I don't know that there's many that have had such a strong showing in their rookie season in this era as Stewart did. So,
interesting. Okay.
Interesting, and I think I'm going to suffer a little bit of a Ferrari drought from here on in, I think.
Yeah, you will have a little holiday. You'll be entertained.
I'll have to I'm going to choose some other champions, I think. Well,
join me on the Stewart hype train.
I do get on the Stewart hype train, but more for what he does off the track. than
Yeah,
on. Like
true.
that's where I really see him as like a real, a force of change for the sport. And necessary as well. So, but it'd be interesting.
Okay, cool.
Okay, well, we've got 1966 coming up.
Looking forward to it. It's going to be a very interesting season. That's all I can say.
Okay, all right. Okay, see you, everyone.
See you next time. Bye.
Bye. We have a Patreon.
Yay, we're a professional podcast now. So it means a lot to us if you are able to support the F1 Time Portal podcast.
For a small monthly fee, you not only get ad-free podcast content, you will also receive special episodes that are exclusively uploaded for our Patreon financial supporters.
We promise at least 2 additional exclusive episodes each month aligned to the decade we are up to in the show.
And you will also be able to make suggestions about any special episodes you may want us to research and present. We can't promise that we can do all of them, but we will consider them.
So, if that sounds like an entertainment bargain to you, go and sign up at patreon.com/F1 Time Portal today.
If you're enjoying our podcast, please tell your friends and non-F1 friends alike.
Yeah, and don't forget to rate us 5 stars or whatever highest is available on the podcast platform that you use.
We have a range of social media handles for you to connect with fellow listeners, so look up F1 Time Portal on all the usual platforms.
Or visit us at www.f1timeportal.com or email us at f1timeportal@gmail.com.
We would like to give credit to our primary reference materials, a series of books called Grand Prix by Mike Lang.
We also use many other written and digital references, which are in our show notes.
Thank you for your support.
Thank you.